This is Julian Assange, and this is the review of the century.
You're clear. Light them all up. All right, fire it. Keep shooting.
A video was leaked today depicting what appears to be a U.S. military helicopter firing on unarmed reporters.
12 million people have seen that video. You still want to tell me you think it's just a little website?
They have an agenda?
Truth, justice, the American way.
The Fifth Estate. The Fifth Estate stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Daniel Brühl and is directed by Bill Condon. It tells the true story of WikiLeaks, which pretty much leaked some of the biggest government secrets around the world, and how Julian Assange and Daniel Schmidt kind of came together, and not so much of how it began, but more so of the heights it reached. Now, the film released just in the mid of October, and it was a film that I was looking forward to simply because Benedict Cumberbatch looked great in the trailers in terms of his, dare I say, impression of Julian Assange. And leaving the film, I guess that's one of the few things I really have to compliment, because unfortunately the film is not that great.
Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. But if you give him a mask, he will tell you the truth. Two people and a secret. The beginning of all conspiracy. More people and more secrets. But if we could find one moral man, one whistleblower, someone willing to expose those secrets, that man could topple the most powerful and most repressive of regimes.
Let's start positive and talk about the acting. The acting in this film is so good as an ensemble cast, even as individual people, of course, but everyone in the cast really steps it up. I mean, you have a great cast. You have Daniel Brühl, who is Niki Lauda in Rush, and is another great performance this year. He does a great job. You have Stanley Tucci and Anthony Mackie, which was pretty interesting to see. I didn't know that going in, but I have to say, the scene stealer is the man, Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, this is perhaps his best performance to date, without a doubt in my mind. You know, the thing is, to say that for a man like Benedict Cumberbatch, who's been in films such as Star Trek Into Darkness, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, to say that this is his best performance over maybe even Sherlock, which is a well-renowned TV show for those of you who do not know, it's a pretty big deal, because that man is one who knows how to act. He's definitely up and coming, and he's become a household name this year. He's still got 12 Years a Slave to come out in wide release, August Osage County, the second Hobbit film. He's really breaking into cinema this year, and I gotta say that this performance is so good. Whether it's any of the subtle mannerisms of Assange that he really manages to perfect, it's something I really liked, and it was a real treat to watch. Unfortunately, though, the movie might not be that good, so his performance might not get recognized at the awards.
This banker's hiding billions of dollars in offshore accounts.
We're gonna nail those bastards.
Former head of Iceland's biggest bank has been accused of fraud.
We took down $1 billion bank. This is crazy.
Courage is contagious.
The White House today blasted the leak of over 90,000 military documents.
The military logs expose hundreds of informants. There are lives at risk here.
I need names of sources who could be harmed if these cables are put out.
They're coming after us. We need to publish now.
This is the biggest leak of classified information in history.
I think a few reasons, well, one of the main reasons why the film kind of suffers is because of how it's directed. Directing in this film, it shouldn't just be there. That's one thing I find a lot in films, is just there. It's just random camera angles and whatnot. It needs to add something. It needs to try and break the bounds between you and just a screen and try and really reel you into the story, which it unfortunately does not do. The direction is very standard. The film comes across as bland because of that, you know? Directing can really make a big difference, and there's certain moments, I mean, there's a lot of the film that happens in text, through text messages and chat rooms, but to an absurd degree. Like, there's an interesting way of doing things, you know? I'll give you the example of The Social Network. I don't want to compare it to The Social Network, but in this particular case I have to, where, you know, they have constant emails from Mark Zuckerberg saying why he's not going to come and whatnot, and why he's unable to meet the Winklevosses, and that was a well-executed thing, even though it was just emails. Whereas in this film, they literally make you read every word in text, and sometimes there's a narration over it, not every time. And the worst of all is where words are like across objects and across people's faces on the screen. It really just feels a bit lackadaisical.
The Guardian, New York Times, all standing alongside you.
This is going to change everything.
He's not a journalist. He's a threat to national security.
This is all about survival.
Lives are at stake.
What about the lives of the civilians?
The writing in the film is surprisingly odd, simply because it is both great and yet not so great. It's really hard to explain how I think the film was written. You know, the thing is, it has the ability, it has good dialogue, it's concrete, and the dialogue flows well. Also because of acting, it's delivered well, but the fact is, from a story perspective, from the larger perspective, it's, dare I use the word, a little clunky in the sense that it doesn't completely fit or connect, and the worst of all, it does not do anything to connect with you emotionally. There's very little that you learn about these characters. Okay, one of them has a relationship and whatnot, but it doesn't push the story forward. There is a story, and there are character relationships, but the two of them don't always connect, except for that with Assange and Daniel, of course. But apart from that, there aren't so many emotional moments. It's a very technical movie. That was my main issue. It got too technical after a point that I lost interest. Not saying I'm not willing to listen. I understood what they were doing, but through this depth of technicality that it had, it kind of lost what movies are meant to do, which is to connect.
If we had someone like you, the Berlin Wall would have come down years before.
We're on the verge of a major international crisis.
If you want to do this, you have to do it now.
You all have 5 seconds. What's going on? 5 seconds. It's just you and your ego and the lies you tell to get whatever you want.
This is information the world needs to know.
We need to crush these guys.
It's life. Times is life.
All in all, The Fifth Estate is a film that has phenomenal performances and not much else. A not so well directed film, a film with average writing, decent editing, I guess, but all in all a film that is probably going to be in that forgettable category. On a scale from a triple no to a triple yes, I'm going to give the film a no. Unfortunately, it was a film that I really wanted to enjoy simply because of the cast alone, and it was too bland of a film for me to really get connected to. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and now here's Julian Assange. Courage is contagious, so make sure to be courageous and subscribe.
If you want the truth, you should seek it out for yourself. That's what they're afraid of. You.